The Francois versus Alex show had another chapter last week in Knock Hill, with the French-Canadian beating the former champion. They're no longer teammates, and this circuit is notorious for close quarters, argy-bargy racing. Will we see elbows out for supremacy, or will double defending champion Josh Klog have anything to say? What about Savian Ragster, Steve Angie, or anyone else? With the closest field has been in quite some time, we wonder, truly clueless, what will happen in Brands Hatch. We will find out together tonight. The British Grand Prix is next. Venue for this evening is virtual Brands Hatch. Opened in 1950, North American Simulated Auto Racing started visiting this circuit in 2021A. 1.21 miles in length with 8 corners in total, 5 to the right and 3 to the left. The lap begins with a sharp 90-degree corner down the infield of Paddock Hill Bend to a left-right chicane which spits you out back onto Hale Woods Hill. The hairpin of Druids is up next. The sand on the outside of the corner is the fastest route, but it is a gray area in NASA Rallycross. 4 wheels off into the sand is illegal, with track limits being at least 1 tire on the racing surface. After this, a jump in the middle of Graham Hill Straight and immediately back up the grassy knoll of Graham Hill Bend, which sends our drivers down the Cooper Straight. Surtees and McLaren corners up next, and you can barely make it without lifting here for the bravest of drivers, and it is this point that our Joker lap comes into play. Such a bumpy section of track to get right. Expect a few mistakes along the way here. For our regular course, exiting McLaren Corner into Clark Curve is no easy feat. The car complains under acceleration, and then you can get surprised by cars on the Joker exit, much like Connor Parisi did when he drag raced Kieran Forrest up the Brabham Straight in 2021A. Our format for NASA Rallycross is as follows. 23 cars will be split into 4 heat races of 6 laps apiece, and you have to take the Joker lap once. The top 2 will transfer to the feature, the winner gets 3 bonus points, and the runner-up gets 2. The rest of our competitors will be funneled into the semi-final 5-lap races, and you have to take the Joker lap once. The top 2 of those races will transfer, the winner gets a bonus point. This sets the grid for the 12-car, 10-lap feature race where the points are awarded and trophies are handed out. Unique to NASA Rallycross, 2 Jokers are taken during the feature. The 28th season of the Overwatch Specialty Service NASA Rallycross Challenge continues tonight on the Automotive Sports Network. With Bryan Sawyer in the production truck, 5-time series champion Philip Kraus next to me in the commentary box, with 2-time series champion Cody Erdmann down in the studio, my name is Josh Mertz as we welcome you to the British Grand Prix. Our series is brought to you by Overwatch Specialty Service. The only thing more unique than your problem is our solution. And for more information, visit osscenter.com. Thank you so much to Rob Hartland for your continued support of NASA Sim Racing. Our coverage all season also brought to you by NordVPN. If you're worried about hackers stealing your personal information or being tracked online, NordVPN is here to keep you safe with military-grade encryption and advanced security features. NordVPN keeps your browsing activity and personal data completely private, with over 5,500 servers in 59 countries, and as a result, you can enjoy fast and secure internet access from anywhere in the world. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. You can try it risk-free with their 30-day money-back guarantee. You can visit nordvpn.com/ASNTVUSA for up to 63% off a 2-year plan. Also, our cameras for the entire season are provided by TrackCams22.com. And finally, our intro music was produced by our very own Alex Abedi. Gentlemen, round 2. I have to drink some water. Welcome to NASA Rallycross. It's a new season. We saw Francois smoke the field in the Ford. Phil, we'll start with you. What's your thoughts?
Honestly, more of the same this round, probably, Josh. I think we're going to see the Alex Abedi and Francois Martel show. We know they are usually the quickest 2 drivers in NASA Rallycross, so without any issues for either of those drivers, they usually are able to pull it through when it really counts, for sure. But you can't discount Klog or anyone else, really, for that matter, as you brought up in the pre-race show. Looking forward to a bit cleaner turn 1 than last week, though, for sure. That's all I'm looking forward to.
And welcome, Cody Erdmann, 2-time series champion. What do you think about tonight?
Yeah, looking forward to tonight. Turn 1 can be chaotic here, especially with the hard 90 right-hand corner that we got going on tonight. And 2 cars that seem to really have done their homework coming into tonight are the KES industry cars of Robbie and Evan. They're both 0.2 faster than the whole field, so we'll have to keep an eye out on them tonight.
as we'll take a look at the Drivers' Championship coming into round 2 here in Great Britain. It's a lot like the results from last week in Scotland, but if you're not sure, that's why we're going to go over them. Francois Martel will come in with the red number plate, points leader. He's got 28 points over former champion Alex Abedi in car number 99 with 23. Savian Ragster, Matthew Morris, and Matt Grove round out the top 5. Matt Hartley completing the Matt trio there in 6th. Josh Klog, Steve Angie, Magnus Okenhaug, and Jake Robichaux. It's a fun fact, actually. Technically, Magnus is in a 4-way tie for 9th place with Robichaux, Vincent Sowers, and Evan McFarland. And technically, Matt Grove and Hartley are tied for 5th. The Sportsman Championship, Matt Grove leads that. He will have the blue plate this evening here in Great Britain. He's got a 2-point lead over Matt Morris. Vinny Sowers sits tied with Jake Robichaux in 3rd with 17 points. Not sure if we have a graphic for it, but the Teams Championship, Pudgy's Racing leads over Slapex Racing. We do. Thank you, Bryan. 42 points for Pudgy's, 25 for Slapex, and KES Racing. Had a terrible race last week in Scotland. They have 10 points. And the Manufacturers Championship, Constructors Championship, it's changing all internally. Ford 28, Subaru 23, Volkswagen with 10. We begin qualifying. We got to keep an eye, like you mentioned, on those KES cars, but we look at Alex Abedi here, former champion, in 2nd in points right now, had a better start to this season than he did last season. What's going to happen with this Pudgy's team sitting 2nd in the Teams Championship? They got Savian Ragster, Alex Abedi, and Steve Angie. Got that first win in Indianapolis last season with Steve Angie. Let's take a look and see. McFarland's going to be quick, like we've mentioned. Larill's going to be quick. I mentioned it in the opener, guys. I don't know who's going to win this race, who's going to be good. Everybody's on top of each other, and it's such a stacked field this season in NASA Rallycross.
Oh yeah, as you mentioned in the pre-race show, definitely one of the most stacked in NASA's recent history. And one person we haven't really talked much about today, Matt Hartley. He went 2nd quickest in practice right before we switched into qualifying. So look out for the Australian driver. I believe he is a NASA Rallycross champion as well. So interested to see what he can cook up for us today.
I'm going to roast you on a live call. I put the stat book in the Discord because I knew that you wouldn't look at it. 2028 champion Matt Hartley from Australia.
You know me so well.
I do, yes. Josh Klog, a 2-time defending champion. Alex Abedi, Matt Hartley. So, a couple champions missing from the iRacing era. Luke Kraus, Sindre Silva, they are not here. And then some guys named Philip Kraus, Josh Mertz, and Cody Erdmann are on this list too. I'm taking a look at Hartley. He's going to be ending his lap here. Cody Crosgrove goes P1, the only car to set a lap so far. Hartley crosses the line, 55.165, 0.6 up on Crosgrove, and he's a 2.5 faster than Steve Angie, Cody.
As
Right
Robbie
as
Rill and Evan
Francois McFarland, it's all coming on this first lap here.
Yeah, right as he was 0.6 clear of everyone else, McFarland and Larill reset the time to chase with mid 46s. I mean, 54s.
Betty in the pit lane, unless there's an issue with iRacing. It is a 3-lap qualifying session, and I'll be honest with you, what I do in lights is I run 1 lap, pit the car, and run my 3rd lap. So you almost run that 2nd lap like a cooldown lap. Let's try and find a Betty in the 99. He's sitting P5. He took the jump there up the hill in turn number 5. Is he right on board? The Pudgy Subaru down the back straightaway. We'll notice the Joker on driver's right. Such a bumpy section of track to get right. And this final long sweeping McLaren corner into Clark Curve and up Paddock Hill Bend. Let's see if Alex is on a timed lap. Well, he would be, but if it's a fast lap or not. Hugging the inside line, driver's right, crosses the line. 55.1. 9. He does
one more
not
lap.
improve, but he's got one more lap, Phil, yes.
And speaking of improvements, Robbie Larill just improved to pole position on a 54.567. They are 4/10 quicker than they were in practice, Josh.
54.5, 54.6. McFarland's done. Francois, I think, is done. I'm just flicking through the field and trying to, at least. And we look at McFarland. Or is
I think Robbie's just, I think he's just styling on everybody right now. I think he might be done with his run. He's just drifting it. The 213.
We do have Matthew Morris has got a couple laps left. Still looking at a Betty, just trying to keep an eye
Doesn't look
on
like
him.
he'll improve, Josh. He didn't get the sand at Druids. but there is still a chance. If he can just find a few hundreds, he'll improve up into 4th place.
Off of the final corner, down the front straightaway for a Betty, crosses the line. 54.779.
Sad for him, though. That's only 1 place. The gulf between 4th and 5th is massive this week, Josh, it seems like.
As one thing I'm looking up and down this board, our sportsman winner from last week has yet to set a qualifying lap.
Yeah, and he doesn't have any time to, actually, he's on a lap right now. He might not get to the line in time.
This is huge.
Yeah, he's not going to reach
From
the
Matt
line
Grove.
in time,
He's not
guys.
gonna
Matt
finish
Grove
his
is not going
qualifying
to...
run.
Yeah, that's going to be last in the seeding round, Josh, and I'm not sure which heat that'll put him into, but
3, 2,
a mountain
1,
to
it's
climb
over.
for Matthew Grove.
Wow.
And from one that had a qualifying pen last season, starting in the back can be a blessing and a curse depending on what happens. So hopefully Matt can make the best of it.
We take a look at the grid for heat number 1. Robbie Larill on pole, Matt Hartley, Cody Crosgrove, Robichaux, Benjamin Gay, Olivier Rateau. As everyone grids up, 6 laps, Joker lap once, the top 2 will transfer. Matt Hartley, former champion, Cody Crosgrove, technically defending sportsman champion. His teammate Jake Robichaux alongside him. And Robbie Larill, what will happen today to prevent him from getting a victory? Not to jinx him, and I know...
Well, he's got a grid, Josh. He's only got 15 seconds left to get on this grid here.
Maybe I did jinx him.
Maybe. He's got 10 seconds and counting to get on the grid. We might miss our pole sitter for heat 1, Josh.
This is huge.
He's only got...
He's on
Oh,
grid.
he grids
There he
right
is.
at the last second.
Getting ready for heat 1. Can Robbie Larill turn a great qualifying run into a perfect night? We'll have to figure it out over the next hour as we get ready for heat 1.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag off the line. Hartley smokes him in the first phase of the start. Down to turn number 1. Half a car length between them. Down to the corner. Larill deep on the brakes. Hartley on the outside trying to make the run. The Slapex cars side by side. It's Crosgrove with Robichaux filing in single file. Hartley behind Larill. Then it's Benjamin Gay behind Robichaux and Olivier Rateau in the back. Into Druids for the first time. We talked about track limits in the driver's meeting. Can't go 4 off. 2 on the inside. It's Crosgrove and Hartley. Still on the outside is Larill. Up the hill into turn number 5. Larill doing what he needs to do. Crosgrove right there on Hartley as they touch down the back straightaway. We'll take a look and see in the first lap, Phil, who will joker. Larill does not. Hartley does not. Crosgrove, I would have maybe jokered if I was in second or third.
It depends on the Joker Delta, Josh, because...
Rateau into the fence in the 63.
Yeah, it depends on the Joker Delta if you take that Joker there, Josh, because if it's over 2 seconds, you don't take it. So we're on board with Cody Crosgrove in the 472, right up the rear bumper of Matt Hartley, Josh, and we know Cody Crosgrove has a ton of pace in this Fiesta. Last season he was Sportsman Champion. Absolutely waxed the Sportsman field. He's going to be looking to the inside.
2 and 3! He
Hartley covers it off.
Inside. Larill 4 off in the 213. Hartley second, third, Crosgrove. Phil, you got to take this. I'll be right back.
All right. It looks like Hartley runs a little bit wide there, but it's not going to cost him any time to Crosgrove, as we're seeing a battle for 4th place between Robichaux and Benjamin Gay in the 2 Fiestas. It's nice to see a lot more Fiesta representation this year. It's been a lot of Subaru dominances. They're both going to take to the Joker. That's unfortunate for Benjamin Gay. He's going to maybe throw it in just about into the wall, but he keeps it pointed in the right direction. Robichaux and Gay done with their strategy. Rateau hit the wall early, so he's probably solidified in 6th place unless something happens. And Crosgrove got by Hartley. I missed that. Oh, Hartley took his Joker in the 50 car. Okay, Hartley took his Joker. That gives Crosgrove open track in the 47. I mean, in the 18. We'll have to see if he can pull a Joker Delta in these next 3 laps.
Hartley in third, Crosgrove second. Larill hugs the inside after getting called out by race control. Back of the field, head not changed. Robichaux, Benjamin Gay, Olivier Rateau. And Crosgrove, that last lap was a second slower than Larill, and it was Hartley's Joker lap, so we can't really compare to tell what happened there.
He's not going to be racing against Robbie Larill. He's going to have maybe an eye too many in his rearview mirror right now watching that 50 car Matt Hartley after he took his Joker, growing bigger and bigger by the corner. You need to keep your eyes forward, Cody. Just try and hit your apexes. There's nothing you can do. You have to Joker. You're not just going to be able to beat him on track.
Yeah, thankfully, Crosgrove, he does have that one car to kind of go chase. not really have to worry about Hartley behind him. So he can just start putting laps together, try to slowly reel in Robbie. They'll kind of not have to think about Hartley being behind him, as he did run only a couple tenths slower that last lap. But this is what his lap time is in lap 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check Hartley's Joker.
55.477 for Larill, 55.639 for Cosgrove, and a 55.366 for Hartley. Hartley's fastest man on the circuit at the current moment.
Cosgrove in the grass there. I thought he might have lost the race. He's going to take to the Joker. Both of our 2 leaders.
Let's look and see where Hartley is.
Cosgrove's not going to have enough.
Through the dirt.
You
have a couple mounds of dirt you have to jump through. Position change. Hartley goes to the transfer in front of Cosgrove. Now Cosgrove has 2 laps to try and make something happen.
Yeah, he's got a target. It's right there in front of him. Hopefully the dirt doesn't blind him too much. So Hartley's going to be kicking up in that Subaru. But, I heard someone hit the wall and it spooked me for a second. I thought that might have been our race leader crashing.
I heard the same thing. Hartley might have a cut that Bryan Sawyer, producer, says, so we have to look and see for the 50 if he's going to have a slowdown. I heard the same crinkling noise, and I looked up and almost said something as well, Phil, so don't feel bad. Larill pulling away.
Hartley pulling away from Cosgrove as well.
Going to come to the white flag. Remember, like we've mentioned so many times before, even if you don't transfer, you still get that semifinal. Cosgrove's looking good for the semifinal unless he runs it wide like that again.
He's got plenty of gap to his teammate Jake Robichaud behind him. 7 seconds. There'd have to be something catastrophic for the Slapex car. And knowing how my commentator's curse worked last season, something catastrophic's about to happen to the 18 car.
We had a bunch of action happen in the lights race yesterday. You'll catch that race on ASN on demand on Friday. Won't spoil anything there. All we could say, like we say every week, is anything can happen in NASA Rallycross, because it usually does. Larill holds the spot. Hartley 3/10 down on lap time that last lap. Cosgrove was a second slower than Hartley. The Canadian might have to go to the semifinal with his teammate, but we'll just have to wait and see down the backstretch.
Well, still a promising run for Cody Cosgrove. He shows he belongs in this supercar class instead of sportsman, as Robbie Larill's gonna round Clark curve for the final time to take Heat 1 from Matt Hartley, and Cody Cosgrove going to the LCQ in 3rd.
As Hartley praising his fellow driver, Larill wins Heat 1. Hartley transfers. Best of the rest, Cosgrove. Confirmation of those results. Robichaud, Gay, Rateau, Cosgrove, the 4 that go to the semifinal. Larill pole position for the British Grand Prix. Hartley will grid in 5th.
So something I noticed quick, just to kind of something to watch for, with us having a lot more Fords and the Beetles as well, I noticed that Cody's Joker lap was like a half a second slower. And I know the Fords don't like to lose dirt as much than the Subarus, so that may be something to keep an eye out.
We take a look at the grid for heat number 2. Evan McFarland, Sabian Ragster, as Bryan's breaking it in the production truck. I was wondering, it was probably going to populate the heat 1 results, Bryan. Grid for heat number 2. Evan McFarland, Sabian Ragster, Russell Peterson, Chris Wetz, Eric Dubois, and Jim McKenzie. So 3 Subarus, and I think Dubois is in a Volkswagen. No, he's in a Subaru. So 4 Subarus and 2 Volkswagens for this second heat race. McFarland, super fast. Ragster, super fast. And Wetz, on his day, like we all know, he could be quick as well, along with Russell Peterson. Another 6 laps. 1 Joker, top 2 transfer here in Great Britain. Green flag off the line. McFarland got a much better start than Ragster. Ragster's going to get swallowed up by Peterson down to turn 1, side by side for Squadra Stun Z against Pudgy's Racing. Wet sneaking into the picture as well in the 71. Ragster rips the handbrake to keep the car in play. He takes the spot back, contact into the tires. Nearly went Peterson in the 59. Ragster's going to hold the second spot. West gets by for 3rd. Then it's Dubois and McKenzie in the back of the field. McFarland beginning to pull away as we take the jump for the first time ahead of Ragster.
Peterson's around.
Peterson spins in the 59 and put him back to 6th. The man from Illinois, Eric Dubois from Maine, having some issues as well. We'll take a look here, boys, at the Joker rotation. If I'm McFarland, I would take it right away.
Yeah, he's got the Joker Delta, So he could have afforded to, but he doesn't in the 04
Nobody.
car.
Mackenzie
know.
goes in the 204. Will Peterson no? So the only car to Joker is Mackenzie in the 204. McFarland out and away by over 2 seconds at the end of the first lap, Phil.
I was going to say, we know Chris Wetz likes to Joker late, but he's been throwing a wrench in that plan recently. Last few races, he's liked to Joker early, actually, in the 71 car. Sorry, I just butchered that. My brain just went blank, but, yeah, well, I'm hoping that Chris Wetz can have a solid result in the 71. I can't help but show my bias a little bit there.
Once the bridesmaid, or twice the bridesmaid, never the bride, third all-time on the wins list with 20 career wins, Chris Wetz, the man from Texas. We bring it up all the time. He is the one driver that has raced in at least one round of every single season. All 28 of them dating back to July of 2012. It was back in 2014 when he lost the championship in the final corner to Dylan Livengood. And ever since then, he hasn't been the same. At least I'd like to think that. Still leading McFarland over Ragster. Still no Jokers, and McFarland has extended his gap by a further second over 1 lap.
Yeah, some may say he's taking the field to Gapplebees right now, Josh. Absolutely destroying the morale of Savion Ragster and Chris Wetz, but luckily for Chris Wetz, he's not too worried about what McFarland's doing. Unless he crashes, then he's in a transfer spot. All he's looking at is the back of that Pudgy's Racing 91 car of Savion Ragster and seeing if he can make that a bit closer in his front windshield.
Such a tricky corner to get right at the end of the jump, up the hill. You want to clip the grass to get the car to rotate, but don't hit the wall.
That was a beautiful line by Ragster there.
Robbie Larill joked about the Velcro, and I agree. That wall just sucks you in. Still no Joker for the top 2 or top 3. As I don't think we've seen, well, Peterson Joker, Dubois Joker, Mackenzie. So the top half has not. Ragster, all squirrely, I took a look off monitor. He saved it down the front straightaway, trying everything, but he's still a second slower.
He's still a second slower than McFarland, but look at the gap he's pulled on Chris Wetz over that last lap, Josh.
So, McFarland a 55.0, Ragster a 56.0, Wetz a 57.0, Peterson a 57.0. That's crazy.
And Russell Peterson's probably going to be ruining his luck in the in his car. He was in a transfer spot momentarily before we got to turn 1. Got a little argy-bargy with Ragster, and then it just all went downhill from there for him. But still 4th place, a chance at 3rd if someone makes a mistake, and that should give him a decent seating spot for his LCQ.
Few laps to go for McFarland. Evan McFarland in the 04 for KES Racing. Trying to make it a KES front row.
And Cody.
54.8. 55.9, another second pulled out by McFarland.
And Cody had mentioned in the pre-race show, look out for these KES cars, and well, they're showing why we should look out for them. They have absolutely dominated Heat 1 and 2 thus far, Josh, as I think we might have missed. Chris Wetz took his Joker before the last lap. What are you doing, Chris? That's not the real you. Come on, man, you gotta save it for lap 6.
I was like, I don't know who he is. He's taking his Joker late.
Yeah, these KES cars, just to bring it up real quick, Josh, sorry to cut you off. We know from when Robbie was in NASA Rallycross in the past, as McFarland takes to the Joker in the 04, they love to practice, and I've been looking through the Discord leading up to this race. McFarland threw up practices almost every night, so really it's on everyone else. They did the practice, and it's paying off for them.
We used to joke about Robbie Larill practicing at 3 a.m., and now I think that's turning into Evan McFarland. I wake up at 5:30 in the morning and check my phone for notifications, and I have 5 from Discord. The race is not over yet, Bryan. There's still a lap to go. I look at my phone notifications for Discord, and Evan's posting at 1 a.m. about practice sessions, and he still has a lap to go, Bryan. So I don't know if your graphics are broken or not.
You know what's
Rallycross. I promise our director knows what he's doing.
You know what's happening. You know what's happening, Josh, right?
McFarland's success. Bryan doesn't even know what's happening. That's what
McFarland's posting the messages so Robbie doesn't get outed for being up at 3 in the morning practicing still.
I guess that's true.
Bring the heat on to the new guy.
Final corner for Evan McFarland. An incredible gap of 6 seconds in a heat race. In my 11 years, I don't think I've ever seen this. McFarland wins heat number 2. Front row along with his teammate. It's a KES lockout. Ragster will transfer best of the rest. Chris Wetz in the 71. Bryan hit the correct button this time. Confirmation on those results. McFarland, Ragster, Wetz, Peterson, Dubois, McKenzie, third down the order to the semifinal.
We can promise these races are not scripted.
I can promise you that. Just go look back in 2012, 2013. All of the broadcasts are on ASN On Demand, shameless plug. If you ever got time to kill, they might not be great, but certainly in the last 11 years and over 230 races, we've got some barn burners in there.
It ain't much, but it's honest work.
I agree. Getting ready for heat number 3 here in Brands Hatch. Francois Martel, Steve Angie front row.
Good luck, everybody.
Magnus Okenhaug, Jess Rakowski, Vinny Sowers, Matthew Grove. A little bit of manufacturer diversity here with a couple of Fords, 3 Subarus, and a Volkswagen. And points leader Martel with the red plate. Green flag. Off the line. Angie jumps him down to turn number 1. Nearly pulled a car length on him down to the corner. Martel deep on the brakes in the Ford. Magnus in the 26. Contact with Angie. Magnus surges between 1 and 2. Contact with Francois again. Contact with Angie. And Magnus, that's the cleanest I've seen Magnus drive to get to a transfer spot. Rounding turn 4. And I mean that with the most love. Francois leads ahead of Magnus Okenhaug, ahead of Steve Angie, Vinny Sowers, Matt Grove, and Jess Rakowski as we head down the hill and back up the hill, Phil. Francois.
Angie's giving it back to Magnus, just doored him, but he's not able to make the position.
Francois can't pull away unless these two completely take each other out. Will there be jokers? No, there won't be.
Oh, I think Francois is going to pull away because these two are going to play a little bit of argy-bargy, Josh.
Rakowski jokers in the back of the field from the 999. So now it's Magnus versus Angie. And if I'm Martel, I'm saying sayonara, goodbye, thanks for the clear track, and just head down and
oh, Angie throws it down the inside with the brakes.
Contact took the words out of my mouth.
Oh,
into Matt Grove,
with him.
Sportsman points leader. I'm gonna have fun with that. Francois still leads in the 12, ahead of Magnus in the 26. Jess Rakowski and Vinny Sowers now battling for the 3rd spot. This is for potentially, I think, a pole position or maybe 2nd in one of the semifinals.
I'm honestly not sure, Josh. I can't remember how iRacing does it for the LCQs, but yeah, Steve Angie there, real unfortunate. I think he just threw it a bit too deep on the brakes, trying to get by Magnus Okenhaug, and as Bryan
Angie
saves me,
jokers.
it is for pole position in one of the LCQs.
Vinny Sowers jokers as well. Magnus exits the joker in the 26. Francois Martel still leads. Magnus Okenhaug, a 4-time winner in the NASA Rallycross Challenge. Francois Martel, 8 times a winner in the NASA Rallycross Challenge. Steve Angie won once in Indianapolis last season. Grove down on the brakes and into Vinny Sowers in the 365.
Looks like all the drama was saved up for Heat 3 today, Josh. Heat 1 and 2, pretty clean. Heat 3, a bit of a bloodbath.
Vinny Sowers not too pleased, but also not too upset over what happened. LCQ exists for
Chaotic
a
neutral
reason.
is what you're saying.
Yes. There was some fire in the voice, but it wasn't too bad. Coming to halfway, crossed flags here in heat number 3. Francois leads by 4 seconds over. Sorry, by
yeah,
my
that's
timing's off by
more than 4 seconds, brother.
My timing was off for a minute there. 7 seconds.
You know what you said last heat about no one's ever pulled a 6-second gap in NASA just in a heat? I think we're about to see it in back-to-back heats, Josh. You just had to open your fat mouth.
Listen here, bud. Francois hasn't jokered yet, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Francois was on the limit
of the track limits. I told these guys in the drivers' meeting, I am the king of track limits. The rule was created because of me, and it's a true test of how to handle these cars. Magnus still sits in 2nd, ahead of Jess Rakowski in the 999. Steve Angie, Matt Grove, Vinny Sowers, the rest of the running order. I think, boys, Francois might wait until the end of this heat race. I really don't think there's any other explanation.
Well, he's got no pressure to joke earlier, Josh, that's for certain.
Can I be a little biased right now? That sequential car is slowly reeling in Magnus. It was a half a second quicker.
That's a fair one. I'll let you have it. She has already jokered.
And again,
So is Magnus. It is
Rakowski.
Rakowski throws it a little wide through turn 1 there, but I think it might just be a gap a little bit too big to bridge in these 2 laps we have, Josh.
Francois still leads. We haven't missed anything. 7.5 seconds over Magnus Okenhaug. You might look and say, well, that's super boring. But listen here, if you hang around for the feature, that means 4 or 5 cars going to be on top of each other, running the same pace, which that's all I'll say about the lights race. There was like every single car on top of each other. It was incredible yesterday. Coming to the white flag for Francois Martel, points leader, trying to maintain this red number plate. Maybe get another winner sticker on the side of that 12 and he takes the white flag. White flag, Bryan. Ahead of Magnus Okenhaug. Third is Rakowski.
What are you talking about, Josh? Bryan's never shown a graphical lap early.
Brian's great. It's better than me doing it by myself.
We love you, Bryan.
So, Francois was a second faster than Magnus the last lap. 55.728 to a 56.772.
Josh, I'm going to cut you off for a second. Rakowski closed it down by another 0.6 that last lap, it looks like. It can be close, but I don't know if it's going to be just enough. And you see Angie lurking in the background. He's throwing as many slices of pizza out of his car as he can to try and throw one of these 2 cars off the line.
Francois got a joker. Let's see what the French-Canadian... He didn't joker! Francois didn't joker!
That changes everything.
We're going to have the 12 sent to the semifinal. Unless this is... It's not saying
this
that there's
is
a
the
joker
last lap. And he did not joker.
He's celebrating like he won the race.
Does he know?
This means Magnus unofficially will get confirmation. Magnus will win and Rakowski transfers.
What's the time penalty for not taking a joker?
It's going to list unofficially once all the cars pass. So we're just waiting for Vinny Sowers and Matt Grove. They're having a great battle. Francois just caught it. He just caught it in chat with a frowny face. He did not joker, boys. So we'll get confirmation.
How big's the penalty from the sim for not jokering?
It's
30
a lot.
seconds, I think.
It's something crazy, yeah, for sure. Just to avoid that. So as the cars cross the line...
It still hasn't been a transfer spot, Josh.
Magnus will win the heat race and Francois maintain... Okay, so Francois will transfer. Welcome to NASA Rallycross. I don't know what's happening. Grid for Heat 3. Or Heat 4. I apologize. We're already on Heat 4. Alex Abetti, Josh Clogg, Matt Morris, Cody Winecki, Brock Quinn. Weren't these guys in a heat race last week together? This is going to be great.
This will be interesting between Abetti and Clogg for sure. Four Subarus and one Fiesta on the grid. That one Fiesta's looking up. He'll really block here as we're going to build up to the 5 lights here. For heat number 4. Alex Abetti gets an amazing pole shot off over Josh Clogg. Josh Clogg's going to be able to hold that second position for now as the Fiesta of Matthew Morris shoves it up the inside of Cody Winecki for 3rd. Should be able to hold that position for now as they all single out through turns 1, 2, and 3. It's Abetti from Clogg, from Morris, Winecki, and I can't see the name. Sorry, my apologies. As we have the Fiesta of Matthew Morris running it wide through Druids. That's going to give an opportunity to Cody Winecki to shove it up his side. As it's Brock Quinn currently running in 5th place. My apologies. But Josh Clogg and Alex Abetti at the front of this field. Abetti comfortably pulling a gap. We'll have to see who jokers on the first lap. No jokers from the top 2. I think we might see a joker in about 4th. No jokers at all. No jokers at all in any of our heats, it feels like. Except for, who was it? Was it Jim McKenzie? Yeah, Jim McKenzie jokered on this heat. But yeah, no jokers on lap 1. That's
thank you for taking
intriguing.
this. I still need you to take this. I'm working out some stuff internally, but thank you, Phil.
All right, as I cut to the battle for the lead, Josh Clogg runs it extremely wide in the 199 through turn 1. That's going to cost him a few tenths to Alex Abetti. Abetti is definitely not comfortable right now, but they're going to be fighting over just that point and seating position. They're both pulling away from 3rd place pretty comfortably here, Cody. What would you want to do if you're Matthew Morris right now, seeing these two just pull away from you? What can you do?
If anything, if I was in Matt's position, Cody's about the same pace, so as long as you can just keep Wienecki behind him, he'll set himself up very well for the LCQ, because unless the two in front of him make a massive mistake, I don't think Matt, as he takes a Joker here, will be able to capitalize on anything. So I think just run a clean, smart race and figure yourself up best for LCQ.
As we're riding on board with Matthew Morris, gets really close to those signs on the left out of the Joker, and we know those give you a time penalty if you get too far into them. But now with him taking his Joker, he has a clear sight on the car he has to beat for 3rd place in this heat. He knows the Joker Delta, so he can just manage that gap to the end of the race and hopefully get 3rd as he takes a massive jump over the curbs at turn 3. Fiesta definitely wasn't liking that, and Josh Clog closing in barely on Alex Sabetti. 13 thousandths of a second the last lap separated our top 2.
Yeah, Clog there coming up the hill, just overshot the corner a little bit, so that'll probably lose him a tenth or 2 here.
And it looks like Abetti's going to Joker first in the 99. Clog follows him in. I don't know if I agree with that strategy. He runs it a little bit wide through the Joker. Looks like Abetti's Joker was a fair bit cleaner in the 99. That should pull his gap out a bit further. Sorry for the pause there. I thought Clog was going to throw it through those signs and potentially get himself a time penalty. But as we look at the gap at the end of lap 4, it's only a 10.5 he's pulled away. Clog's definitely still in with a chance to win this heat, but he's going to have to pull out all the stops in the 199. As Abetti hits the wall! That's going to be huge, and that's going to bring Josh Clog right back into it. It turns out he doesn't have to pull out all the stops, because Abetti just kind of gives him a chance by chucking it into the wall in the 99.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the battle for P3. Is Matt half a second faster that last lap, so Matt's got that rabbit to chase. Now let's see if he can be able to catch him. And then
yeah, he's got that rabbit to chase, but he doesn't have to pass his rabbit. His rabbit has to Joker.
Yeah, he just has to get there, and then once Cody takes a Joker, which if Cody was smart, he would Joker here. Oh, no, he doesn't.
And just get there, sit there, and lurk is Cody Wienecki. If I'm reading the scoring right, he's got about a 2-second gap over Matt Morris, and that's all you need to maintain the position. So that's going to get fights between those two. As we keep all eyes on our leaders as we take 2 to go here in Brands Hatch for heat number 4. Last time by was a 56.5 for Abetti, 56.2 for Clog, but as we know, Abetti threw it into the wall in turn 2. We'll have to see if that affects anything as we get further on. As he runs a bit wide through Druids. Josh Clog follows him though, so that should be a net neutral between those two. But it's looking like I know I said this last time and Abetti threw it into the wall. It's looking like he's going to have to pull out all the stops to get to Abetti, and really he's just going to have to settle for the transfer and 8th place on the grid in tonight's feature.
Yeah, there's just too much of a gap there as we're coming up to the white flag here. Unless he throws something crazy, but they're both in the feature, so it doesn't pay to be that reckless.
Yeah, he's just hoping as we see Cody Wienecki takes the Joker from 3rd, and it looks like he's going to be comfortably ahead of Matt Morris in the Fiesta. It's not going to be as comfortable as I said, because the drive on that dirt's just not as good. It's going to cover the inside from Matt Morris. Matt Morris round the outside into turn 1 as we cut to our lead battle just as they were going side by side into turn 1. It looks like Wienecki's going to be able to hold that position on Matt Morris. A little RG-bargy, pushes him wide in the Fiesta, uses the bigger size of his Subaru as Matt Morris gets a beautiful little undercut. Wienecki covers the inside beautifully, but he's gonna shove it to the inside, just door Wienecki a little bit wide, make some space for him. It's like, get out of my way, I'm gonna take this, as they're gonna go side by side again, and they door again! And that's Matt Morris over the sausage, and that's probably gonna kill his chance at 3rd place. A little bit of RG-bargy between those two as we're going to go back to our battle for the lead. Alex Abetti rounding the final corner to win heat number 4 from Josh Clog. A really tense battle between those two, but there was never any on-track action, really.
No, they just had the good about half a second separation in between them the whole time. One would make a mistake and they'd tighten up, and then the other one would make a mistake and the gap would widen out.
As we
All good, brother. I kind of sent it on you a little bit there too, but it's all good, man.
well, the graphics were trying their hardest to work there, but on heat number on heat number 4 we had Alex Abetti win from Josh Clog. Let me pull it up myself.
Matt Morris, Wienecki, and Brock Quinn was the remaining running order. Thank you, Phil.
You're
Thank
great.
you,
Josh.
I could just step aside, not do any of this. Crosgrove,
Yep.
Rakowski, Robichaux, Angie, Gay, Sowers, Rateau. the grid for semifinal A. 2 transfer, 5 laps, green flag. What a start for Angie compared to everybody else. Crosgrove got smoked and so did Rakowski. Down to the first corner. Rakowski nearly into Angie. They all push out wide in turn 1. Into turn 2, got to do single file, can't do double file very easily. Crosgrove surges exiting turn 3 and down to turn number 4 to Druid's hairpin. Outside is Angie, inside is Crosgrove. Rakowski sits in third. Robichaux and Sawyer in the back of the field over the jump for the first time. It's Angie, Crosgrove, Rakowski hanging on in the 999. Technically speaking, she shouldn't be in this race. Robichaux in the 69 takes out the 999, making my job immensely harder.
Oh, and he takes another one with him. Yeah, there's no nice way to say it, Josh. Jake Robichaux went bowling there. Absolutely cleaned out the sequential SimSport car of Jess Rakowski, and it's a shame for her. She was looking really strong today. As Cody Crosgrove's looking for the lead on Steve Angie. We got to remember this season, Josh, the top 2 drivers in both of these LCQs transferred to the final, so they don't need to battle. It's pretty much over a wooden spoon, because what do they get, 9th and 11th in this one, and then 10th and 12th? It's really not a big difference on the grid.
Love to contribute, but I still have to figure out what's going on for the future. So Cody, if you can back me up, I will be back.
I got you. You're not really going to gain much of grid position here on the start, so it doesn't pay to really push for one more spot. So
yeah, and it's one of those. It's definitely one of those tracks, as we've seen these drivers funnel into turn 1. I'd almost rather start last instead of starting 10th. Because those 2 more cars behind you, that's 2 more chances to be bowled into in the first corner.
Yeah, when you're in the back like that, you can take your time through those first couple corners. And then once it all funnels out, then it's game time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I know the one time I ran at Brands Hatch, Cody, I was starting about 6th or so, and it was not a fun experience at turn 1. Actually, it wasn't really turn 1. I made it through turn 1. Turn 2, though, yeah, I was playing ping pong the entire time. But yeah, these 2, they have taken Benjamin Gay in 3rd place to Gapplebee's. We've not mentioned the Joker strategy yet so far, but our top 2 drivers have not jokered. Everyone else has. It's Benjamin Gay is under pretty heavy pressure from Vinny Sowers in the 365. Try and take that 3rd place, and this is important because they're fighting over points now, because if they can't make the feature, this is going to be the result that stands for them, as Steve Angie's going to pull a little bit further away.
Yes, I haven't really looked yet, but this may be battle for the Sportsman Cup tonight, because I'm not sure if any of the other Sportsman drivers have made the feature.
I am unsure, to be honest, Cody. I don't think any Sportsman drivers have made the feature so far, but we still got a second LCQ to go through with a few more Sportsman drivers there, as Vinny Sowers runs it wide through turn 2. Yes, we're going to have a lot of drivers in the Sportsman class in the second LCQ, as Benjamin Gay gets massively sideways over the jump in the 53. That had to be terrifying for him, as I believe we're going to be coming to the white flag here for our leaders, and Steve Angie's going to joker early. That's going to give the lead to Cody Crosgrove for a lap. We'll have to see if anything happens to Angie on this last lap that means Crosgrove can take the overall win, but for now he's just getting the benefit of leading the lap in a NASA race. As there's not much action behind this battle for 3rd place, and even that's calmed down a little bit with Jess Rakowski running in 5th, Jake Robichaux 6th, and Olivier Rateau running down in 7th, which is it's a shame for the Mika driver. He's shown pace on a few occasions, but he's just never been able to put a full weekend together, it seems like. As I might be called a bit of a fool here, because Cody Crosgrove has a 2.5 on Steve Angie, Cody. And I believe the Joker's just over that.
Yeah, he's checking out here. He ran a 55.5 that last lap, so really in his rhythm right now. Let's see what happens when he takes the Joker here.
We're going to go on board Steve Angie through the penultimate corner. There's nothing he can do except watch. He's going to have to watch and look for the number 18 of Cody Crosgrove. There he is. Cody Crosgrove is going to win the drag race to the line, I believe, Cody. He's going to take semifinal 1 here in Brands Hatch over Steve Angie in 2nd. That was a lot more exciting than I thought it was going to be, as Benjamin Gay is going to finish in 3rd and be the first car not to make our feature tonight.
Best of the rest, Benjamin Gay. So confirmation, on those results. Kraus, Grove, and Angie win and transfer. 13th, Gay. 15th, Sowers. 17th, Jake Robichaux. 19th, Olivia Ratcho. You notice Jess Rakowski's on those results. Excuse me there. She's going to be in the feature because iRacing's broken. So 999 will be in the feature. So hang out momentarily after the semifinals and during our ad break. We're going to figure it out. Normally we don't have any sessions break, but unfortunately, yeah, it's broken. So we got to figure it out. Grid for the second semifinal. Chris Wetz, Matt Morris, Russell Peterson, Cody Wienecke, Eric Dubois, Brock Quinn, Jim McKenzie, and Matthew Grove. And it's a shame that the points leader is the one that's not going to be involved. But stuff happens in NASA Rallycross. It happens to the best of us. Another 5 laps, 1 joker here in Great Britain. Green flag. Wetz gets a great jump. Morris gets swallowed up by his teammate and Wienecke. They're 3 wide for second. Down to the first corner. Wetz holds the spot. Peterson on the outside. Peterson gets checked a little bit out wide. Wienecke to the inside of Morris. Morris side nearly. Words are hard. Into Wienecke. Into Peterson. Wetz holds the lead. Side by side it's Morris and Wienecke for a moment. Wienecke backs out of it. Up to turn 4. Gives the 24 a nudge. Around goes Wienecke in the 903. Dubois passes Quinn in the back of the field. Grove in the back of the field. Scores for points leader. So it's Peterson and Wetz up the hill, down the back straightaway. We'll see any jokers on the first lap. Car length and a half between Peterson and Wetz. No joker from Wetz. No joker from Peterson. No joker from Grove. Nobody except for Morris in the 24.
And they've pulled a comfortable gap over Matt Grove in the holding the blue plate right now in the 472, our sportsman leader. I believe, I don't know who's in the sportsman class. I want to be completely honest with you, Josh. It was mentioned in the first semifinal, so if you know, I'd love to be enlightened.
I don't have the time to look at the spreadsheet.
I was watching from the lead. And that's going to demote him to, it looks like he's going to keep second place, but Matthew Grove back in the battle for this transfer spot. He's going to look on the inside of the 71 teal Volkswagen Beetle. Is not going to be able to quite pull off the move here, and I'd imagine you'd want a joker here if you're Matt Grove. It's a shorter race. You still only get 1 joker, but you really can't afford to lose time. And there's actually no, there's not really a gap for him to merge into. But
see who we're joker. Nobody jokers. Of the top 3, top 4, Quinn in the 005 does. Morris already did. Wienecke has not. McKenzie did in the 204. So this is a fight coming at 3 laps to go for this transfer spot.
And Wetz recovered quickly. He's back on his feet pretty quick after that hit in turn 2. He's already closing the gap down to Russell Peterson again in the 59. As he's going to probably want to be a little bit more careful through turn 2, not get as much on the grass as you see him give it a wide berth there on the 71. Matthew Grove throwing it this way and that to try and close the gap to these two, but it just looks like it's not enough at the moment.
Peterson holds the lead. Last lap was a 57.7, 58.7 for Wetz, 57.6 for Grove. Dubois was fastest at a 57.5, then it was Morris at 56.6.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's not even the fastest. Cody Wienecke on a 56.1, but he's 10 seconds back from this battle for the lead. I don't think he's going to play a factor in this.
Jokering is Wetz. Grove will stay out. So
this is going to be big.
Where the man from Pennsylvania will come out. He's going to pass Wetz in the rotation. Will he come out ahead of Peterson? He will. 2 laps to go. And he's got the run on the
And Wetz has company
asphalt
behind him in Dubois. That's going to mean
Dubois
he's going to have to defend into turn 1, and that's going to cost him some time in the 71. This is what Matthew Grove wants to see.
Dubois did not joker in the 034, so we'll take a look and see at him. If I'm Wetz, I'd be worried. If I'm Grove, I'd be worried. But Dubois getting in the way here potentially and messing up this transfer spot, or taking it for himself.
You can see it, Josh. Every corner, Chris Wetz is taking that slightly defensive line in that Volkswagen Beetle. He's not able to get the most lap time out of that car as he'd want to right now because he's almost, I think he's got too many eyes in his rearview mirror. He's thinking about Dubois. Dubois spins it.
Dubois spins, gets hit by Morris. Parking lot at the top of the hill. Quinn throws it into reverse and hits Wienecke. Up front, Peterson sneaking in onto Grove in the 472.
And I think we might be building up to another barn burner for this transfer spot, Josh. You weren't here for it in the first semifinal, but I thought it was all but over. And this is a similar gap between Wets and Grove as it was between, oh, my game's just crashed again. So I'm going to be out of action for a few seconds here, Josh, if you want to take over.
Grove leads Peterson on the white flag lap, ahead of Wets, ahead of Morris there, excuse me. Winecki, Quinn, McKenzie, Dubois. Grove holds this spot. Peterson faster than him by 1/10 of a second that last lap, and I don't know if Grove will have the delta over Wets. Wets might be sneaking into a feature, and Grove, focused on Peterson, nearly gets tagged by the 59 at the
and
top
look
of the
how
hill.
close Chris Wets is, Josh. He closed a ton of time up there. Grove was looking at Peterson, and he didn't have a chance to make the corner himself. He's going to take to the Joker from the lead, Josh. It's going to be all eyes on Chris Wets and Matthew Groves. Russell Peterson should cruise to a semifinal B victory.
Hits the wall on Joker, coming to the Joker exit. That's going to give Grove what he needs. It's going to be Matt Grove transferring on a last gap effort over Chris Wets in semifinal B. Wow.
Hell yeah, good race, Chris, good race, Russell.
Peterson and Grove transfer. Wets will come home in 14th. Winecki, Quinn, Morris, McKenzie, Dubois. Confirmation of those results. As Philip Kraus will have to run during warm-up. We appreciate you hanging out with us. It's going to be Cody, Erdmann, and myself. But first, we're going to step aside for just a couple moments. We're going to come back, remind you that we have to step away further to fix the session. But, well, it'll all work out. We'll be back shortly.
You're so interesting.
I love your browser history.
I like that you're not hiding anything from me.
By the way, nice IP address. I like your neighborhood.
You are so special. This ad is just for you.
I learned so many things from you.
You are so generous.
With your personal data.
Switch on privacy, switch off trackers and viruses. Go to nordvpn.com. NordVPN. Safely be you.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Side nearly 3 wide of Matt and Palacio. Front bumper of Abetti down to turn 2. Clog takes the lead. The wheel still hasn't jokered inside. Clog on McKenna. Contact between them.
Sorry, bud.
Oh, good. We welcome you back, delayed at least, to round 238 of the championship overall and round 2 of the 28th season of the Overwatch Specialty Service NASA Rallycross Challenge here in England with Bryan, Sawyer in the production truck, Cody Erdmann alongside me in the commentary box. My name is Josh Mertz as we are on the Automotive Sports Network live. Just a reminder, our series is brought to you by Overwatch Specialty Service. The only thing more unique than your problem is our solution. For more information, visit osscenter.com. Thank you so much to Rob Hartland for your support. Coverage brought to you by NordVPN for up to 63% off a 2-year plan. Visit ASN or nordvpn.com/ASNTVUSA. Finally, our cameras for the entire season provided by TrackCams22.com. Cody, you got a quick prediction before I kick this thing forward?
Watch over the KES industry cars. They were super fast, as we saw. Evan dominated his heat race, so we'll have to watch out for them.
Thanks for everyone on the Automotive Sports Network hanging out. I appreciate every one of you hanging out and waiting through our delays here. Unfortunately, as iRacing is a little bit buggy. When something goes wrong, it breaks and the whole thing falls apart. So we should be all good shortly. And actually, I'll just do that. It's our grid for the feature in Great Britain. If Bryan, you can bring in your internal feed just so I can tell what's going on. Robbie Larill on pole position. Evan McFarland, Magnus Okenhaug, Alex Abetti, Matt Hartley, Sabian Ragster, Jess Rakowski,
everybody. We are doing
Josh Clogg, Cody Crosgrove, Russell Peterson,
Jokers.
Steve Angie, Matthew Grove. Like I said, thanks for hanging out. A little bit delayed. We're going to get this thing rolling. We're going to get this taken care of.
Also, quick note, we do have a battle for the Sportsman Cup in this feature, as Rakowski and Matt Grove are both Sportsman drivers, so we will have a battle for this in this feature.
As Grove with the blue plate, trying to make it 2 for 2. Rakowski trying to get her second victory as well. She won in Lime Rock last season. We await one car on the grid. It was Josh Clogg. 12 cars, 10 laps, 2 jokers, Calamity and Brands Hatch as we get ready in England. We go green and Brands Hatch off the line. Magnus and Abetti. Great start compared to the KES cars. We're 4 abreast down to turn 1. McFarlane gets ping-ponged around. Down to the first corner. Larill on the inside. He gets pinched. Abetti, into the wall. And Magnus takes the lead. It's going to be Larill in second. He gets passed by Abetti. Through turn 3. Into turn 4. McFarlane in 4th. Hartley 5th. Rakowski. It looks like that was Ragster, Clogg, Crosgrove, Peterson, Angie Grove, the remaining running order. Through turn 4. Over the jump to turn 5. Magnus leads by a car length over Alex Abetti. Larill deep on the brakes into Abetti. Turned around as Larill in front of the field. Into Rakowski. He did it again. And Rakowski in the back of the field. McFarlane, contact with Abetti there. Net coating off of each other as jokering in the first lap of the race is Magnus. Why can't my job be easy on Wednesdays? I have to do so much review at the end of the first lap, Cody. Looks like Magnus might lead. Abetti's got the huge run down the corner. I was going to toss it to you, but we're going to have a battle for the lead. Down to the first corner. Abetti deep on the brakes, complaining. And former championship rivals collide. It's Magnus versus Matt Hartley from 2020A. Abetti loves this out in front. And Ragster in the 91 sits in 4th. The first lap, chaotic already here in Brands Hatch.
It's weird. Cody Crosgrove drove through the field.
As your ticker's broken, Bryan, we are definitely in a race of 10 laps. Abetti leads. Magnus in second. Hartley, Ragster, Clogg, Crosgrove, Angie, Larill, McFarlane, Peterson, Grove, Rakowski. Cody, go ahead.
One of the Pudgy racing cars takes the Joker. Ragster takes the Joker along with Crosgrove. Kind of running the wall there a little bit. And Ange. So they take one of their parts of their Joker laps.
Larill passes Ragster, still leading is Abetti in the 99, Okenhaug in the 26, Hartley in the 50, Clogg in the 199, doing what he does best, just sneak around, surprise everyone at the end is Josh Clogg. Run your own race, mind your own business. Top 4 really under a blanket for Robbie Larill after looping it and spearing the 999 of Rakowski. not going to have a fun time, like I said, on Wednesday, reviewing all the incidents. As McFarlane into Ragster, clips the wall, nearly spins himself in front of Cosgrove here, Cody.
Yeah, as we got Magnus, he's taking his second of the 2 Jokers, so he's going to be the first of the leaders that have his strategy completed here. Just now he comes out right behind Clog and Hartley, so he will be positioned P4. This is the front 3 cars all have not taken Jokers yet.
As a Betty, no Jokers, Hartley no Joker, Clog no Joker. iRacing must be broken, Bryan, because we are for sure in a race session. Magnus has Jokered already. He's right behind these 3 that haven't Jokered, Cody, but we've experienced this in the past. You're going to get stuck in traffic and potentially involved in an accident when you're battling with cars that haven't Jokered yet. Deep on the brakes again is Robbie, sending it into that corner.
He's trying to push as hard as he possibly can because he knows how fast his car is. Because those KS Industry cars were on rails in their heat races. Robbie takes the Joker here. That'll be his first of 2.
Exiting the Joker will be Loril in the 213. He's going to be battling Ragster, who has taken a Joker. Ragster takes the spot. So put the man from California back to 5th place. Angie, McFarlane, Cosgrove, Grove, Peterson, and Rakowski, the remaining running order. As we begin the 5th lap, we're going to come to halfway home at the end of this lap. And Alex Abetti trying to take this, leaps it off the rear bumper of Hartley, and around the defending champion goes in the 199. And he can't get back going, Cody. He's got to let the whole field by.
Yeah, that's going to absolutely kill his race. He comes out, I think, P10. Peterson goes around him. Yes, so he'll be P11 after that whole incident.
Such a tricky, that we talk about earlier on how it's a one-loop groove. I'll tell you from racing yesterday, this track is so hard to make a pass. You really only have the one spot, and that's turn 1. And you have to slipstream down the front straightaway. Otherwise, you're basically just following your competitors throughout this course. Halfway home, crossed flags in Brands Hatch. Alex Abetti leads over Matt Hartley, over Magnus Okenhaug. And how this race has changed, it's a 3-second gap from Abetti to Hartley. Magnus, this is a redo of 2020A, if you remember those races back then when they were racing for the championship. Saving Ragster sits in 4th, 5th, Loril took his Joker. Still one of the fastest guys here, along with his teammate. McFarlane stuck in traffic, though, in the 04, behind Cosgrove and behind Angie in car number 7.
As Hartley's just trying to possibly reel in Abetti. But Abetti's just laying down 55-second lap times, like, consistently, as Abetti takes the Joker.
So, we don't have really any camera controls, and the ticker's broken, so welcome to ASN. Abetti might have cut in the Joker, Cody! He was 4 off in the grass. I don't know if the sim's gonna like that. And he was into the boards on Joker exit, so I don't know what's gonna happen. But Abetti still leads. We take 4 laps to go. He leads over Hartley by 1.5 seconds.
He might have got away with one there.
Hartley has not Jokered yet, I don't think, according to this.
He is not.
Magnus is done. So Magnus might be going to win this race. Don't want to speak too soon. But with Abetti still having a Joker left, Cody.
It's going to be close. If Magnus can start reeling in some really fast lap times, he ran a 55.6, his personal best. If he can keep running that, and Hartley just kind of pulls him along, and then once Hartley takes his Joker lane, he's free and clear.
McFarlane in the back of the field all over the track in the 04. He was way off into the grass. We're going to come to 3 laps to go here in Great Britain. Alex still leads. I appreciate you, Bryan Sawyer, for trying to fix what's happening on your end. I'm looking over to my left, and there's just all kinds of stuff breaking. Welcome to ASN. We'll try and keep you with the radio-style coverage. Like always, Abetti down to turn number 1. Car number 99, the Thai driver, switched from the German license last season into this season, trying to get Thailand its first win as a nation in the NASA Rallycross Challenge. Last lap is a 55.843. Matt Hartley, a 55.826. Magnus Okenhaug, a 56.1. Magnus rips the inside of turn 4. Perfect line from the Norwegian. He's trying to get yet another victory in the NASA Rallycross Challenge. As Matt Hartley only won twice, Magnus has won 4 times, and Alex won 5 times. Sabian Ragster hasn't won. Angie won in Indianapolis. In the sportsman ranks, Matt Grove still holds the spot over Jess Rakowski. We're coming to 2 laps to go, and that's going to be a great battle. Jokering is Abetti in the 99, Cody.
Grove went around.
Grove is around in the sweeper, the uphill sweeper. He's going to hold the lead ahead of Hartley. Hartley still hasn't jokered. This might give Betty the win. Deep on the brakes into the first corner, rip the handbrake. Hartley smells blood. He still has 2 jokers, 2 laps to go. He has to joker now. Cutting the track is the 50. Does that give him a slowdown?
I would say that was a lot of curb there.
I'll be shocked if it wasn't a slowdown. Ragster 4th, 5th is Morrill. Perfect line on the inside. Angie and Crosgrove battling, McFarland battling, and Rakowski holds the sportsman lead ahead of Matthew Grove.
As this is probably got to be irritating. Hartley's just holding him up. As now Hartley takes his first of the 2 jokers.
Rounding the final corner, we'll come to the white flag for Alex Abetty in the 99. Holds the spot for Magnus. Hartley comes out in front of Ragster. It might be a double podium again for Pudgies. I don't think that Hartley's going to have the delta over Ragster. Absolutely not, he won't, Cody.
No, it was Hartley messed up turn 1 there. His rhythm is all out of whack right now.
And you have to get the line right through 2, through 3, inch perfect in order to have the momentum up the hill to turn 4 into Druids, down the hill and back up the hill into turn 5 for Hill Bend. On Crosgrove, some radio communication there. Hopefully we were able to pick it up. But Alex Abetty, former champion, had a terrible first couple of races last season for that title defense. But unless something goes wrong, the tie driver will come off of the final corner, and he will break the tie he has with inaugural champion Brandon Lambert and become tied with Tanner Smith and Jakob Rafos. Alex Abetty wins in Great Britain ahead of Magnus Ogenhaug. McLaurel takes the 3rd spot at the line ahead of Hartley and Ragster. They both had a joker left.
Yeah, I totally missed that Ragster had a joker left. So Robbie came in and stole one.
I don't know if our graphic will work. So we will get.
Your rest of your running order was Ragster, Farland, Crosgrove, Ant, Peterson, Clog, Rakowski with the Sportsman Cup win, and Grove.
Since we're short on time, normally we would have a podium interview, but we will have an interview with our race winners. So we will bring in Alex Abetty, and we will bring in Jess Rakowski. It's probably a conflict of interest that T-Motor interviews his driver, but I don't do interviews. It's all going to be you, Cody. We'll bring in Jess first. Jess Rakowski, Cody Erdmann, all yours.
Hey there, congrats on getting the Sportsman Cup win. What were you thinking there when you were in the middle of all those up-front drivers going into turn 1?
It was terrifying. I thought for sure that I actually braked slightly, I just braked early, trying not to.
Well, I'm glad that ended when it
bowling
did,
ball.
I'm out of fuel.
But yeah, it was terrifying.
Yeah, and unfortunately got caught up there in a little bit of a tanglement with Robbie Larrill, and then just kind of drove your way through. What were you thinking when you saw Grove make that mistake? And I know you two were the only 2 battling for the Sportsman Cup win.
Honestly, my thought was like, if he's the only other sportsman driver, then I got to get past him. And I don't know, I just kind of saw which way he was spinning. And I could tell that he was going to get stuck on the left side. So I just kind of cranked the wheel to the right and tried to extend the slide.
Me and my dude Cody out here running out of fuel.
I mean,
I
lost the position for it, but I mean, I won sportsman also, so
absolutely.
I'd say it was worth it.
Smart driving. Who'd you like to thank to give you the Sportsman Cup win tonight?
It's like the handshake meme because your team owner's in this doing the interview.
So I'd like to thank you, Cody, obviously. But also I would like to thank my mom. She's been very supportive of me throughout all of this. And I'd also like to thank my friends, Ayushi, Zainab, and Diane. I'm still like in racing mode, so I'm not really thinking about talking that much.
All good. Second career sportsman win, Jess Rakowski. And this time it's on a rallycross track. So great run, and we will see you next week in Norway.
Well, actually, I did have a sportsman win at Sonoma my first season.
Oh, so you got 3. I don't know my own series, but we'll see you in Norway.
All right, see ya.
One more for you, Cody. Alex Abetti. Hopefully Alex can hear you, Cody. I remember we had issues last week. If not, I'll take the interview. Cody, all yours.
Hey there, Alex. You got us?
1 second. I think the problem is I can't hear him. Yeah, I can't hear him.
You got me? Okay.
So can you hear Cody now?
The problem is in my Discord, I can't find Cody now. So I have muted him for a driver meeting. I've muted everybody, and I forgot to unmute him, and I can't find him right now.
Well, we are in the commentary box, my friend. I'll give you a minute. If not, I can take it. Welcome to live television, everybody.
Okay, I got him.
You got him?
Yeah, I got him.
Okay. So first off, Alex, you went from P4 on the grid and around the outside of all 3 drivers to be able to take your way to lead. What was your thoughts on that?
I knew coming in the feature on P4 that I might have a good start and take everyone from the outside, because outside is better than the inside. But Magnus did what he always does, is making problems for cars. And I knew when I was stuck behind him, it's going to be hard. But luckily, Robbie and me had a little, I don't know what to call it. And he spun out. I could save the car. Magnus jokered. And I could pass him, and then I knew I win.
Yeah, you were able just to really, once you're able to get around Magnus, you were able to set out and run your own laps. Were you really worried about anyone behind you, or were you just kind of, once you got out front, you just kind of looked out the front windshield, not worried about behind you?
Well, I had to look out for Evan and for Robbie because they got tremendous pace, and Josh Locke as well. But I couldn't see them on my relatives, so I guess they were too far behind. So I just knew if I don't make a mistake, I win. So I didn't drive like to the fullest I can because I wanted to drive safe and not spin out or do something stupid.
Absolutely. You ran a pretty much a picture perfect race there. Who'd you like to thank to get you on the top step of the podium tonight?
Yeah, I would like to thank Sabian Raxter and Steve Angie for being in the team and supporting me. And sorry to Francois Martel. I feel sad for him, but this can happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, mistake was made tonight, and it's going to shake up the points battle.
Yeah, so I got the red plate. Yeah.
As good run, Alex. We'll see you next week in Norway.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Unofficial points. We'll go over those before we close out this show here this evening, and hopefully I'll be able to read the Discord as we're looking. We'll get confirmation of the results. It's not qualifying, I promise. Everything's broken. Welcome to NASA Rallycross. We take a look at points. I can see that Alex Abetti leads over Sabian Raxter, I think, 51-35. It was potato quality internally here. Magnus Okenhaug 2 points down, Matt Hartley. And the big thing, Cody, Francois drops down to 5th with that score. He's going to get, I don't think he's going to get any points. 23, I think, might be like 1 point, if it's any points. So Francois, luckily there's a drop week now, but he has to make sure he does well at Mount Washington. And Matt Grove, unofficially, according to this, still holds the blue plate, going into Norway.
Yeah, unfortunately, with Martel, he used up his drop week. You really want to save that for like just kind of a bad run with terrible luck, but kind of a self-inflicted wound here. So now he's going to have to make sure he runs every race perfect from here on out because we have a stacked field.
As McFarland, Clog, Angie Grove, Larill, the remaining top 10 in the Drivers' Championship. As not sure if those points are even correct for the sportsman. Welcome to NASA Rallycross. Don't worry about it, Bryan. We're okay. Just a reminder, our series brought to you by Overwatch Specialty Service. The only thing more unique than your problem is our solution. For more information, visit osscenter.com. Thank you so much to Rob Hartland for your support. Coverage tonight brought to you by NordVPN. For up to 63% off a 2-year plan, visit nordvpn.com/ASNTVUSA. Cameras for the entire season provided by TrackCams22.com, and our intro music was produced by our very own Alex Abetti. I'm going to do a couple programming notes. Cody will get a final thought, and we will say sayonara because your boys got to go to bed. We're going to have the Woven by Toyota NASA Sports Car Challenge. The open test is June 29th. That's this Thursday. So tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your dog, NASASimRacing.com. Everyone's welcome to join that test. It's going to be absolutely awesome. You'll watch round 2 of the NASA Rallycross Lights from here in Brands Hatch. Took place yesterday. You'll see that Friday, June 30th on ASN On Demand. And then round 3 of the Overwatch Specialty Service NASA Rallycross Challenge from Norway, Monday, July 3rd. You guys are all lucky that I'm going to be here because the 4th of July is my birthday, and I really don't want to be, but I love NASA Rallycross. This is my child, so I'll be here. Cody, quick final thought.
I think tonight showed that you don't have to be the fastest car to win, as Evan and Robbie, the 2 fastest cars that we thought we had all night. Unfortunately, mistakes were made and caught up in things, and Abetti was able to capitalize and run, I would say, a picture-perfect race. He showed why he's a champion, and he's starting off on this season on a lot better note than he did last season. So let's see if he's able to put it together and be a 2-time champion with myself.
As still a long way to go, but the checkered flag falls on the evening. From all of us at the Automotive Sports Network, from Philip Kraus, Cody Erdmann, and Bryan Sawyer, my name is Josh Mertz, as we hope you enjoyed today's coverage of the Overwatch Specialty Service NASA Rallycross Challenge tonight from Great Britain. Congratulations to Alex Abetti, and be sure to join us Friday evening for Lights. But until then, so long, everyone.